Welcome everyone to Innovation Fika. It's Wednesday afternoon. It's 2:30 p.m. and it's a Wednesday afternoon. And as you know, every Wednesday, 2:30 p.m., I go live with my Innovation Fika with a guest, with some cool tech, with some cool ideas and some good learnings as well. Live from Stockholm, KTH Innovation Technikring in 1 today from a studio because the guest is on a digital link. And you can follow this broadcast on LinkedIn, YouTube, Twitch, Facebook, Unibid, and Twitter. All content written and recorded is on YouTube. All of my daily posts, because you know I post almost daily on LinkedIn, daily posts on Medium and on LinkedIn, of course. 437 daily posts now. Everything about innovation, entrepreneurship, inspiration, and everything around that. So follow me there on the different platforms. And this is episode 66 of my Innovation Fika with Donny, the Innovation Coffee Break. And I must tell you one more thing here, important. Now, from today, we have Innovation Fika on all platforms. So I've changed the broadcast platforms to Innovation Fika. So if you go to YouTube, Twitch, Facebook, LinkedIn, or wherever you go, it's always Innovation Fika. Super easy to find, same address everywhere. As you know, incredible guests, incredible ideas, and some really cool things. Today is going to be a really good one. So make sure to bring out the coffee, and I hope you've got the coffee ready and you've heated up your cinnamon buns and that you loaded up with questions and comments on how to create engaging content, because that is today's topic. With that, I will invite our guest for today into the show, Mr. Henrik Skarstedt. Welcome, Henrik.
Thanks, Donny. Thanks for having me.
It's wonderful to have you here. I'm so happy you could do this, and I'm really looking forward to today's show. And to everybody out there, as you know, the live feed, the live format is for you to interact with us. So post questions in the comments, post questions in the feed and comments as well. Just keep it going. Anyway, but starting off to you, Henrik. I always start by asking my guests, who are you and what do you do? So, sir, who are you and what do you do?
Well, I do a lot of this stuff, so let me show you. Okay?
Okay.
I will. A short video?
I'll just remove myself. Okay.
They say it's lovely out there. However, I spend most of my day in a box.
The Studio Bricks 1 by Swedish Review.
Mostly I record in here by myself. Today, however, I'm scheduled for a live voiceover session. I'm in Sweden and the client resides in Hamburg in Germany. In real time, made possible by Session Link Pro. It's a far-end recording software through your web browser. And with a decent internet connection, which we both have in this case, I only record as a backup file. The client did the actual recording on their end.
Take a minute, think, and ask yourself, when was the last time you left your comfort zone? It's been a while, right? You know what? Time to defy the rules. Sometimes you got to stick your neck out to get to the fun side. Because awesome doesn't come for free.
Yeah, how's that for starters? Broadcasting live from Uppsala.
Awesome doesn't come for free. I love the whole voice thing. You should do it. This reminds me of, I went to see Pablo Francisco, the comedian, and he always does the Arnold Schwarzenegger thing, you know.
Yeah.
And he also does all the movie, the movie voice. One man.
One man in the world. What happened to Pablo? Is he still around?
Sorry?
Is he still around, Pablo?
I think so. But you are a voice actor as well. I mean, you're a voice actor, you're a filmmaker, and we saw proof of the voice actor thing. Awesome. Doesn't come for free. I love that. Wonderful. So is that how you spend your days? In the box?
In the box. It's actually where I'm at right now, because this is the best acoustics environments for me here. Okay. Mostly I'm a filmmaker.
Yeah.
And I also do a lot of voiceovers in my filmmaking work. Yeah. And also separate works for clients, like in this example. And I also do podcasts and stuff. And
okay.
I guess I'm a storyteller.
That's a very good bridge for today's topic, because we're going to talk about storytelling and how to create engaging content. on pods, presentations, whatever. And I will actually open with one. Okay, here's the stupid question. I'm the host, so I can ask all of the stupid questions, and then all of the guests can be the smart ones and ask and answer like oh, really profound, and you should do this and this and this. I will, I will say, okay, here's the question. Everybody knows, the kind of, you see a movie, you see something compelling, something exciting, and then they go to do a presentation, and it's like PowerPoint with bullet points. And, why is this disconnect between everybody can tell a fun story, or, let me tell you what happened to me today, and they can do this animated story thing. And then they're going to do a presentation, and, they put a tie up really tight, and then they start the PowerPoint, and they go, blah, 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 bullet point. I mean, why do we have this disconnect between presentations and presentations? What do you think?
Yeah. Reclaim the presentation.
Reclaim the presentation. Reclaim the fun of presentations.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. I guess it's in many cases it's a lack of fantasy. What to come up with, and I guess it's also something that you've seen how other people do it. Yeah. You guess that you get away with it if you keep at least that level, but maybe not much more. And I mean, on some note, it's also a matter of skills to be able to make up some ingredients that are fun to watch, I think. But it's true. It's we should really reclaim the presentation, the fun ingredients. I think should be mandatory in order to have a presentation.
I think so too, because any presentation, I mean, anything you're going to convey to anybody else is telling a story, right? I mean, you're trying to convince people or listen to you at least, and you want them to stay awake, hopefully, during the presentation. So it's about, but how? Let's break it down. How do you divide up like a presentation? How do you divide it up into different parts, or how do you sort of work? How do you make it sort of work?
Well, you remember the Axe commercial, the deodorant?
Yes.
Axe, because first impressions last.
Yes, first impressions last. Right? I love that one. Yes, the tagline there. Yeah.
And it's not unique for them, I guess. It's a well-known truth that first impressions last. But I always try to start with a sort of a strong, captivating start, since that is the way you get your audience's attention, and that's when they decide to either to keep on listening to you or to go with their smartphones, Yeah. So I mean, that's kind of a no-brainer to me, try to illustrate.
Wait. That's you saying that's a no-brainer to you, but we're talking about everybody else there who always ends up with. And then actually, we have Rohit here. Thank you, Rohit, for asking a question here. How do you create a story? Exactly. That's exactly what we're talking about here. How do you create a story? So you open strong. You open with a start, right? You open with something to captivate the audience.
And maybe in medias res, in the center of the thing happening, Yeah. I händelsernas centrum. And start in the center, I remember I heard a radio commercial from in Sweden. There's a guy called Lasse Brandman. His terribly burned skin has no ears left. I remember his lecture on his experiences. It was a guy, voiceover guy who talked who spoke that in a radio commercial, and it was like really inside the fire, So start there, and then you can expand it.
Wow. Yeah, when I do the pitch training for all of the startups and entrepreneurs, I also always tell them, start by telling people what you're going to tell them, kind of thing. Set the scene for what's going to happen, so they're kind of prepared mentally. You don't have to tell them the tagline for the joke the first thing you do. Sometimes you have to, because but you don't. You can leave that hanging. You can leave the cliffhanger thing there, but set the scene and as you said, open strongly. Open with something to, exactly. Yeah. Okay, so we've done that, and then what? And then what happens?
Well, then of course you have to have a strong middle section with some relevant contents. And also, I think it's very important to be very clear and concrete. At least that's what I aim for. Skip those fancy words if you know an alternative, if you know a substitute, and then have a lot of fun.
Yeah,
I think. May I show something else?
But of course, you might. I will give the scene to you. Hang on a minute, and you'll show another film. Here we go.
Yeah. So, keep it simple. If you have a good story, then you can afford to keep it very simple. And I think humor, it opens up your memory bank, so to speak. So this example, I think it's an American insurance company called Geico. You maybe have seen it already, but I think this is kind of genius. It's simple and funny and has a story. Of course, I'm voice-over artist biased, but yeah, have a look.
Paula Sala is a real Geico customer, not an actor. So to help tell her story, we hired that announcer got from the movies.
When the storm hit, both our cars were totally underwater.
In a world where both of our cars were totally underwater,
we thought it would take forever to get some help.
But a new wind was about to blow.
With Geico, we had our check in 2 days.
Payback. This time, it's for real.
Geico. Real service, real savings.
And that's a wrap.
And that was the guy. Because the funny thing was, we had a comment here from another user that says, "Oh, you sound like the trailer guy," and then the guy comes in here, and that's the guy. Oh, cool.
Yeah,
excellent.
That's actually the Inner World guy, Don LaFontaine.
Yeah. I think
he came up with that Inner World.
Your sound is a bit garbled. I don't know if it's the connection here, but on my end, the sound is a bit garbled. It went a bit garbled when you showed the video there. But anyway, so
okay. Yep.
We start strong. We have some relevant middle. We make it fun. And I want to pick up something that you said, because you said something very, very important there. You said, try to not to use the fancy words. And I can always hear when somebody is reading a written pitch, because they have all of these fancy, especially if it's no offense to Swedes speaking English, but when you're trying to use a language and you're trying to make it sound, professional, sometimes it goes overboard and it doesn't sound spoken. When you're speaking to people, don't forget you're speaking to people, right?
Yeah.
Super important.
And I think if you dare to use those very simple words, then you show that you really have understood.
Yeah.
Thing. You don't try to hide yourself between fancy.
Exactly.
Ways of
I mean, it's
stuff.
yourself. You're talking. You're presenting, right? So I think your sound is still a bit garbled. It might be on my end only, because I don't know.
Sorry.
For anybody out there, if you, how about you? Please comment in the comments if Henrik sounds okay or not with the garbled sound. But I think it's okay. I mean, we can hear what you're saying. So it's not.
Hopefully.
One more thing that I know that you talk a lot about is when it comes to the importance of creating captivating presentations and stories. We are also living in an era of so short attention span. I mean, the attention spans have been going down, and then as we got these magic machines that are sort of teaching us to maybe not how to multitask, but so what's your take on that? I mean, the shortening of attention spans happening and how to work with that.
Yeah, well, I mean, in some way, I'm an effective guy, so to speak. I like I'm an effective guy. Sorry, I'm struggling with the English. But in the past days, I know you mean. I mean, it's called to spoil something. If you spoil a story, the end, right? And then if you tell that in the very start, then you consider as you spoiled the story. I mean, at least for the kids now, it's all about the early rewards. To show the point within maybe 5 or 3 seconds, and then you reveal everything else. And I think in one sense, it's an effective way of digesting information, but it's also kind of tragic for the human race.
Yeah.
I mean, what happened to our patients?
Yeah, I mean, I know. I mean, I have a friend. He thought he'd say, okay, I'm gonna show my son Star Wars, the original from 1976. I remember sitting in the audience as a small kid myself, being captivated by Star Wars. So he brought up the movie on the TV screen, and they sat down to watch it, and like they both fell asleep after like 10 minutes because it was like so slow and nothing happened. It was 40 years later, we're all sort of kind of thing.
Yeah. It's I guess it's a sad development in some way.
Okay.
For instance, this is my you can get the screen like that.
It's your son, right?
Oh, sorry. Yeah, you can get the screen. Yeah, this is my son. He's come December, he's turning 11. He's TikToking, and they say children in his age have an attention span of like 7 seconds or something.
Wow.
Before they have to move on. So, I mean, coming next generations, if we want to make content that appeals to them, I guess we have to rethink some stuff. Or what do you think?
Yeah, but yeah, and I ask everyone out there as well, what do you think about the shortening of it? We see kids' attention span shortening. If nothing else, the TikTok thing happening. We saw your son going through, the feed there, and we'll ask. Yeah, exactly. I would ask everybody out there as well, what do you think? Should we cater to that and make our presentations match that? And should we make pitches which are 10 seconds long, or should we try and hold on to the format? That's an interesting question. How much should we cater to this change behavior, and how much should we try to stick to what we feel is like the storytelling, and give it some time and make it let it mature and wait for it, kind of thing. I mean, that's a question for everybody out there. So your answers, what are your comments to that? But what do you think about that? Where do you, I mean, you and where in your work and clients, what's happening?
Yeah, I do a lot of content stuff on social media, and then it's very much about the 59 seconds, It's gonna be 59 seconds, because then it's uninterrupted on Instagram, and but I think that I like the long, slow TV also. So I think it's both ways there. But maybe we also have a responsibility to teach our kids how to concentrate, how to have patience, because it's not only about them digesting longer videos. It's about navigating in their lives.
Yeah, I mean, how about waiting? How about actually waiting for something to happen, or this whole sort of instant gratification thing that you have to have everything now. You press a button and the delivery comes to your door. You don't even have to go anywhere anymore. Everything is sort of now, and I want it now. And I saw this morning on TV in Sweden that we have a huge problem with, short-term consumer loans, because people are borrowing money to consume more things because they want to buy everything now. The whole savings thing is out the window. That hasn't happened for, the whole thing. I'm going to save for 40 years to buy a house. 40 years to buy a house? You crazy? I want my house now. That kind of thing. So I think that the whole trying to, at least, I think that a good compelling story can keep people captivated for longer time. And I think that's one way of actually, I'm not teaching, but at least getting people used to waiting for something to happen.
What if the topic overall is just not that exciting?
Sorry, what about?
We had a comment. If the topic is boring, basically.
Yeah, exactly. This one. What about when the overall subject of the pitch is just not that exciting? That's actually a really good question.
Yeah, that's a good question. If it's all that boring, is it really that hard to stand out then from the rest?
So why is it? Yeah, my question. Why would it be boring? I mean, I think
just not that exciting is the phrasing. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I think that a good storyteller, like yourself, or anybody that wants to tell a story, you can tell a compelling story about almost anything if you sort of make it into a story and not just a bulleted PowerPoint thing. One of my best tips for, well, again, in the pitching situation, when you're doing a presentation, is to, whatever you do, because usually, because I work with super tech stuff. I mean, I work with researchers and people is like the, I guess like Rohit said, thank you, Rohit, for adding that comment right now. Probably the attendee is not the right target audience. Yes, because I work with super tech things, also sometimes pitch to people who aren't super tech.
Yeah.
So then it's too easy for the researcher or tech person to sort of end up in the very sort of techie presentation thing.
Yeah.
So my key message then is figure out who you're talking to and try and make it relevant for them so they get it somehow. Break it down, make it relevant, make it so they can connect. Even if they don't understand the subject, you can explain it in a way with comparisons or analogies so they get it. So always try and make it, so it's different if you're presenting it to your best friend or your grandmother or your 6-year-old son. I mean, you'll present something 3 different ways, probably. So it's all about understanding who you're talking to and make it relevant for them and make it fun for them. I mean, you can probably make most things fun if you want.
So what about the part of the audience that might be very into the subject then?
Yeah, of course.
That's also a challenge.
Yeah.
For them.
Here's another one. I think many grown-ups have even shorter attention spans. Thumbs are fast. Yeah, well, I think we're super fast in deciding what we like and what we don't. I mean, we don't give content a chance to sort of get to a point where it actually pulls us in. I think that we very quickly just go, nah, not for me. Next. So I mean, we're living in that environment with the 60-second, as you said, social media, the Netflix thing, where there's always something, you can just a button push away. And I think you have to, again, what you were talking about, I think you have to create content that very quickly at the start ropes people in and gets them sort of at least interested and captivated, as you said from the start. Start strong. Start with something that this is gonna keep you captivated. This is gonna be cool.
And often then start with a person, also a human being, at least on video. Yeah,
and then you can go into what you were talking about, the relevant content and that things. And as you said as well, try and add some humor, make it lighten it up a bit. And then what about the end? How do I end a story?
Well, the end should also be something that lingers in the audience's mind, and maybe something that connects with the start, and a call to. I mean, a lot of content is the call to action. What do you want the viewers to do right now when the viewer has watched the video?
Yeah.
I mean, sometimes you have a very concrete call to action. Visit this web page or something, or maybe if it's just a logotype, or but in order to make things happen, you have to give them a call to action. And also you can it's always good to end with something forward looking, about something about the future also.
How would that, what do you mean by that?
I mean, if I would interview a scientist or a startup or something in an exciting field, I would include in the just before the ending, what about the trends in your field next coming 6 months or something.
Okay. All right.
Because it's a natural direction to look into the future, and
Good
also
tip.
and then they can also I'm doing a thing in 3 weeks from now. I can mention that as a part of that trend, and they also feel happy about mentioning
That's a
stuff
good
that they're
tip.
involved in.
I mean, I've heard the sort of ending and the sort of call to action part. I mean, commercials usually end with some kind of go there, click on this, get this, try this, which we also usually put into our pitches. But the whole sort of looking forward thing, that's a really good tip. So, and I will put that in the whole sort of how to make your PowerPoint presentation more compelling is open strongly, relevant content, make it personal, be a human being, and then towards the end, call to action, and also, with the forward-looking, the vision thing there.
Yeah.
Awesome. I'm looking at the time here. I'm sorry for babbling on here. We could probably spend the rest of the day talking about this, but it's actually 5 to 3. It's only a half an hour coffee break we're doing now. So, and as always, my dear friends, we always end with our guests' top 3 tips. And Henrik has promised to give us top 3 tips of how to build and work with engaging content. So, Henrik Skarstedt, top 3 tips. Tip number 1.
So it's kind of a summary, Tip number 1, have a strong start, really in where the drama happens. Have a strong start, and then you have to illustrate what you're talking about. If you go, I've seen this video clip on YouTube the other day, show it, at least a portion of it. It's much more fun.
Yeah. Visualize what you're saying. Tip number 2, visualize what you are saying. Show them what you mean.
Yeah. And tip number 3 is to try to get in some humor and glimten i ögat in everything you do.
Yeah, a glimten i ögat, tongue in cheek. Make it fun to watch. I mean, make it enjoyable. You don't have to make it into a comedy, but make it enjoyable for people who are watching. I think that's awesome. Really good tips. Thank you very much.
Yeah, cool. Should we end with some short thing about attention span and?
Of course.
A short Geico thing.
Okay.
Positive note. Yeah.
Don't thank me. Thank the savings.
You can't skip this Geico ad because it's already over. Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance.
Yeah, they let the dog do its thing live.
First I thought they'd frozen the picture, but then you actually saw the actors when I sort of...
Yeah. And they went in the floor and stuff.
That was really good.
The pre-roll. The YouTube pre-roll. The YouTube pre-roll thing.
Thank you. Good tips. You're welcome, LinkedIn user. I don't know who it was, but thank you very much. Thank you, everybody, for watching. This is Innovation Fika, a 30-minute coffee break with me, Donny from Stockholm, KDH Innovation, with a guest today, Henrik Skarstedt. I will put your name on again. I will actually put your website on there. Look, go to henrikskarstedt.se, and you'll find everything about Henrik, his voiceover and his acting capabilities, and also his filmmaking. And lots of examples there, fun tips, really good tips. And based on those tips, to end, we have to wrap up. We have to watch this next week, 2:30 p.m. Innovation Fika, and it will be going on for at least the end of June, and then the summer might happen, depending on what Sweden and the weather gives us. You never know.
That's a call to action and a future thing.
Yes, and a future outlook. So for now, having a fantastic week. Thank you so much, Henrik, for joining the show. Thank you, everyone, for commenting and being part of it. Yes, Rohit, thank you as well. Awesome. And see you all next week. See you all online. Henrik, thank you so very much for today. And I will see you in real life, hopefully, as well, soon again. Bye for now.
Thank you, Annie. Bye.